This front grille is unmistakable. The new generation Nissan Navara. Launched about a year ago, proudly built in South Africa. We tested the double cab version a while back, but now we've got single cab 4x4 in LE spec. And it's an interesting vehicle. You can see, first of all, let's look at this very bold front end. The black treatment around the grille, the bumpers, etc. If you go upper spec level, you get color-coded bumpers. I really don't see the difference, quite honestly, especially if you want to treat this as a working bakkie and not a leisure bakkie. Good old steel wheels. Look at that. Not fancy mags, anything of the sort. 16-inch basic steel wheels to do the job. Nice space, wheel arch space for articulation for 4x4ing, and you'll see some nice off-roading in this video as well. And you'll see exactly what we did with the bakkie, because we are at the Gush Valley Farm, at the Motor Matters test facility, where we bring 4x4s, and you can see we've certainly put this one through its paces. Dirt, mud, whatever we've done it all. Let's take a look inside the cab. As I said, single cab bakkie. Now this one's an interesting one because it's got some luxury spec, but it is a workhorse. You can see it's been working the last few days on the farm. That's for sure. It needs a good clean. But that's not what I want to show you. Just bring the camera in here and I'll show you something that you've got to just keep in mind when you buy a single cab bakkie. There's nowhere to load your valuables. We have to put bags over here, for example. There's a teeny bit of space behind the seat, but it's really not much. And it's not going to do very much for you if you want to use this as a family vehicle. But I keep repeating, it's a workhorse. So don't confuse the two. I think that's the big issue. Of course, the other advantage of a single cab is the long buck, because you're not losing all the space for the second cab. And that makes a difference. Very useful, very neat. Look at this. Step up. Even I can get up and over into the back when I want to. And you can see now, we'll show you, we're carrying quite a load over here as well. Maybe not as easy getting off, but it works in the end. Unlike a lot of the opposition that have a central handle, single handle for the tailgate, you've got to do it the old-fashioned way, can I call it, and drop the tailgate like that. You take your choices. It's simple. It works, carries the load, and that's what counts. We've got probably 300, 350 kilos on the back now. We're going to give it a good test with a load. The Navara, as you said, 4x4. It's powered by the 2.5 litre diesel engine that Nissan upgraded drastically for the new generation Navara. 120 kilowatts, 403 Newton meters of torque. I've got to say to you, there are a couple of occasions driving this bakkie when I really would have liked the 140 kilowatt version. It just would have pulled better, and that one goes up to 450 Newton meters. But an interesting comparison is, if you look at the Toyota Hilux range, the 2.4 puts out 110 kilowatts and 403 Newton meters. So interesting that they are that close to each other, and I think that could make a difference. But it's a workhorse with a lot of luxuries, with a lot of extras, with a lot of bits and pieces added to it to justify, I think, the price as well. We'll see it on the road, we'll see it off-road, and we'll see it inside. We'll talk a bit more. Dirt roads don't seem to faze this Navara at all. The all-wheel drive, or the four-wheel drive, I've got it in 4 high just because this is a really bumpy, lumpy, rocky piece of dirt road. But one of those little crossings we did just now, putting it to 4 low just to be cautious, and handled it all. It certainly doesn't seem to matter. And remember the fact that because this is the workhorse, the single cab version, it's got leaf spring rear suspension in place of coil spring, so it's not designed for pure comfort. And obviously the coil spring, the double cab version, will be a lot smoother, a lot more comfortable on a road like this. But I've got no complaints whatsoever. Plenty of torque from the engine, which helps, even though there are moments when I prefer the version that gives you that little bit more power. But then again, that's really depends what you're using it for and where you're going and where you're driving, so it could all depend. But the beauty is just being out out in the bush, having fun, farmlands, and the opportunity to come and play out in the country.
Yeah, you good?
Let's start off behind the wheel as always, and you've got the old-fashioned push button over here on the dash to change the trip computer. But look over there. We've done 614 kilometers on this test so far. That's the important number. And we've averaged 8.5 litres per 100. Now, if you consider that that includes dirt roads, some off-roading, etc., I think that's a pretty good figure. So there you go, you've got that. You come down, of course, you've got your controls for your radio, for your phone, etc., all over here on the steering wheel. Very simple, very basic. I don't think I have to tell you much. Now, we come to the center, and I've got to start commenting. Where's my screen, please? Listen. And where's my reverse camera? These are features in a vehicle costing this kind of money, even for a buckie, I would really like to see. And I really think they are lacking very sadly, especially the reverse camera, quite honestly. You've got nice air conditioning, it works pretty well, and you come down below there. 12 volt, you've got a hill descent control, you've got a diff lock, and of course this is the important one. 2-wheel drive, 4 high, or push for 4 low. And we used all of them on this test, as you will see in the other segments of this video. Now we come over here. 6-speed manual gearbox. I often comment, it's surprising how light the gear shift and clutches are on modern buckies compared to a few years ago. Easy, light to drive. I have no issues whatsoever with it. I could drive it all day long. So, it's a vehicle of contrasts in my book. I haven't mentioned to you 7 airbags in a single cab buckie. Curtain, side, etc., etc. In the double cab, I could understand that, but not in the single. But that's what they fit. So the price on this vehicle is 511,000 Rand right now. I mentioned the Toyota, the 2.4. Interesting is 509. So they really are competing head to head. I think basically you've got to see which one you prefer driving, which one you find more comfortable, and which brand you're loyal to. Isn't it as simple as that? And that would be a choice. Obviously, I haven't even mentioned Ford Rangers, the new Isuzu D-Max, the Peugeot Landtrek, or any of the others. I'm just comparing the best seller with this one for now. As always, the choice is yours. For Motor Matters, I'm Eleanor. See you next time.